Hello, future bestsellers. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are super, super happy to see you. I'm Lisa Daly, and with me, as always, is the lovely and talented Robert Jones, aka the Story Detective, and our other co-host Michelle Schusterman is unfortunately not here today. She actually had a ghostwriting client snafu thing that had to be rescheduled for today. So she will not be with us this week, but we expect to see her back next week. How's everybody doing? I'm it's been hot as it can be. We have two air conditioners in our house, which is not uncommon in Florida. You have like different zones because like to have one air conditioner do the whole house can really be tough. And and our smaller air conditioner, which handles all of the bedrooms, not the master bedroom, but all the other bedrooms, and my office is not working. And we had a guy come out yesterday who felt very sketchy, like first second in, he's like, "Oh, you should replace this," saying it was the unit was older than it was because it's actually not that old. And we like had well, anyway, by the end of the day, he quoted us. This is for the small air conditioner, $15,000 to replace the small one. So it kind of sucks because in Florida you need like a good air conditioning person, and ours just retired like I don't know 6 months ago. So we are in Florida in summer without a good person that we can trust. Yeah, right. Oh my god. Yeah. So there's that. Anyway, it's actually
Take
not too bad this
there.
morning. What were you gonna say, Robert?
Trying to take some advantage there for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, if you have been here long enough, you realize that a lot of the AC companies are staffed with like felons. It's a very sketchy business because you cannot go without air conditioning in
Yeah,
Florida.
yeah, all
It's
that.
just, yeah, it's not good. Oh, Daisy said just found out we need a $2,200 pool pump replacement. And I was freaking out about that. Live in Vegas and everyone, right? Florida's the same way. Um, that sucks. It does like, is that crazy though? It feels like everything. I know you guys have experienced this. It feels like everything is like getting more and
Mm,
more and more expensive.
yeah.
So, ugh, anyway. Um, yeah, that's not a good thing to start with. Sorry about that. Let me just kill the mood right off the bat. Um, yeah, so okay, very nice, very nice. Let's say hi to everybody in the chat. Story Detective was here first. Yay, good job. Mary's here. Good morning, Mary. Super glad to see you. Lainey's here. Super glad to see you too. Daisy's here. Love to see you. Yeah, too. Like I said though, my office usually gets the worst of it. Like it will be bad by the end of the stream because I'm on the corner facing the water. So like I
Mm.
get sun this way and then I get sun this way and all day long in my office, even when the air conditioner is working like a champ, is like a little hot box in the summertime. But yeah, anyway. So Maz is here. Hello. Super glad. Yes, right? That's insane. Absolutely insane. Cool Gamer is here. Hey, Cool Gamer. We're super happy to see you. Mary says, I once bought a little window one that sits on the floor and has a tube to a little window while clearing out dad. Right? That is,
Mm.
oh gosh, she said house with no AC or ceiling fans. Hawaii with no AC or ceiling fans. I kind of get no AC in some ways. I mean, I wouldn't do it, but I understand. But no ceiling fans in a climate like that, whoo, that'd be bad. I can't live without them. Um, we looked at AC for my partner's flat in the UK, 15,000 pounds, and it would reduce the value of the flat as well as being ugly and distracting. Oh gosh, that's the worst.
Yeah, that's pretty nutty. If you have AC, how is that going to distract from the value? Because at least you can be cool when it's hot. You would think
Right,
add
right.
to
But depending on,
the value, right?
yeah, but if you think about if the house isn't built with all that duct work and you
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
install, especially if it's like a historical place, like I could see, yeah, I could see that. I could totally see that. Excuse me. Avi's here. Hello. My house is not a historical house. It was built with AC ducts, and this is just a replacement. Just insane. Anyway, crazy, absolutely crazy. So, and the horror geeks in there like looking up prices for AC units to see like how much is the cost of the thing versus the labor. And let's just say they wanted to charge us like 10 grand in labor, which is crazy, crazy. Maybe I'll run over to Home Depot and become an air conditioner repair person,
Yeah.
right?
We're all
Anyway,
going to get back to learning to do things ourselves, I guess, because we're into those times, I suppose.
yeah, I mean, yeah, there's definitely something about that. All right, let's go ahead. I said this, I was about to say, let's go ahead and do our first 5-minute sprint, and I have not even gotten my timer up. So give me 1 second to get that done. I'm sorry, guys. I was so like just slow moving today.
On the upside, we're going to have a few days of temperatures in the 70s, so we're getting a relief from the heat here.
Really?
It
That
got,
feels like such a nice
yeah,
thing.
it got super cool. I was like, wow, this is June and it's chilly.
Yeah, exactly. Avi says, as an island girl, I love a good ceiling fan. Right? That's it. If you live in the like as much as interior designers will say, oh, ceiling fans, and they don't like them. If you live in a warm place like Florida, you have to have one in every room, including over every bed, because it's just even with AC, like you just need that air moving. Plus, it helps actually with your heating and cooling bills. Hi, welcome to the heating and cooling show today. Sorry. Yeah, exactly. All right, guys, I am finally ready with my 5-minute beach timer. I apologize for not getting this up and rolling a little more quickly. All right, let's do our first 5-minute warm-up sprint. We're going to get those documents open, get your stuff, put your hair in a ponytail, which is what I'm about to do because it's suddenly gotten a lot warmer in here. Here we go. Yeah. You too, Robert. Put your hair in a ponytail. All right, here we go, everybody. We're going to get started in 3, in 5 minutes. All right. All right, guys, we are back. So this is kind of funny. I could not like I kept pushing the button and I could not like get my I could not get it to unmute me. I'm like, ah. Okay. So what are you going to be working on today, Robert, while we are doing our sprints?
I am back at the Sherlock Holmes novel. I haven't written since last week because of other busyness. I did work on a bit of art during the week. I'm inking a page, a Hawkman drawing that somebody else drew. He always wanted me to ink something of his, so I'm finally doing it, and I'm trying to take my time on it and do a nice job for him.
Oh, that's so cool. Can we see progress or you're still working on it?
It's almost done.
All right, hold on. I'm going to make you big.
I used to pride myself on being the best inker for everybody that came before me, but after not doing it for a while, I had to struggle over this. I think it's turning out pretty well.
Wow, that's beautiful. Oh my gosh, Robert, that is incredible. That's amazing.
And got a few little touches I want to do and finish it up this afternoon.
That's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Robert, Mary says you sound a little quiet. Anybody else experiencing that?
Let me see. How about now?
Oh, yeah, we can definitely hear you now. Mary says, should we tell fans that reading about hockey can definitely keep you cool? Not my hockey romance. Although reading about hockey in a hockey arena can keep you cool for sure.
Yeah, it doesn't melt the ice, but yeah, it's really cold in those arenas.
Yeah.
Georgie's daughter-in-law is she was like a world class or Olympic class figure skater, so she teaches it, and going into those skating arenas, oh man, it's freezing.
It's very, very cold in those arenas for sure. You have to like, especially in Florida, it's got to be like such a weird, like going from outside. Mike's nephews played hockey, and they, spent quite a lot of time in the arenas, and like the sensation of going from like 90-degree weather with insane humidity into the ice rink where it's very cold and like it's such a shock to your body for sure. Lainey says, Robert, you're so talented. Super true.
Thank you.
Love that. Everybody loves it. Very nice. Steamy hockey romance melts the ice. Love that. I took ice skating lessons in Hawaii, and going from the arena to outside was a trip. I like going in there though. Oh, right, because it's so hot outside. It feels so good when you first go in. Yeah, that's absolutely until you start freezing and you realize you're just not like used to that kind of thing. The Ice Palace. I love that it was called that. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right. Let us know in the chat what you guys are going to be working on today. I am, excuse me, I'm going to try to get a little writing done, but I have been doing more book coaching projects via Reedsy, which is kind of funny because I've had my profile up there for like, I don't know, a year or so, year and a half. And I haven't really done much, like I don't ever promote it, but I haven't ever really done much work over there. And I think it's just because I'm registered as a book coach and most people really didn't know what book coaches were. But I've seen Reedsy doing advertising for book coaches. And now all of a sudden I'm getting all these requests. But it's like so much different when they come to me by my usual methods because they typically already know me, whereas I'm starting fresh from Reedsy and there's a ton of back and forth. So it's a lot more sort of emailing, answering questions that I'm used to. So I have a whole stack of those. So that's what I'm going to do the first sprint. And then after that, I'm going to be getting into some writing. It's been a good experience. Like, Michelle gets a ton of her client work from Reedsy. Book coaching is like I said, it's a little different because a lot of people don't even really know what a book coach is. So they don't really know to look for that, even though they might need one. And so it's been an interesting experience. But so far, everybody's been really nice that I've worked with. And so, yeah, it's good. And I think it's a great way to get some vetted, industry professionals, if you are trying to do this on your own and you have no idea, where to find a cover artist or an editor, these are people that have a clear track record. And so I think there's some good to that.
Mhm.
Maz is pre-editing a first draft, wrote 100 words, deleted 100 words. In there, feel ya.
It's like that sometimes.
Oh, I love this. I don't do hockey, but I do like cave tours. Going into them and having to leave in the summer is a shock to the system. That is absolutely true. That's absolutely true. Although I do not like caves that are like too tight because I'm a bit claustrophobic. But I do remember, I don't even remember where we were. Like, I was in college, a bunch of us had gone on like this weird road trip. We had this crazy friend Dave that was always like planning these adventures, and he would never tell us where we were going. He'd be like, pack sweatpants, a cooler full of meat, and a ball gown. Like, it was just always weird. And he had taken us somewhere, and we ended up on this cave tour. And I still remember the stalactites hang tight from the ceiling, and the stalagmites might reach the ceiling one day. And that, like, I still have like a visceral, like, physical memory of the place because it was so hot outside. It was like in Alabama or something, and so cool inside. So, not the same 100 words. Gotcha. Gotcha. All right, there we go. Okay, everybody, let's go ahead and get rolling on our very first writing sprint of the day. Let me get this up. Minutes. All right, here we go. Okay, so get your little fingers stretched out and ready to move. Here we go, everybody. We're going to do a 20-minute writing sprint starting in 3. All right, we are back. Let us know how you did on that last sprint. I I still have messages to respond to, so I'm gonna put that aside for now so that I can actually write on my next two sprints. What are you doing? What are you how'd you do on that first one?
I did pretty well. I was picking up the scene that I left off on last week that I had to change the point of view. So I'm just getting into character voice as I change it. So it's starting to click.
Oh, good. I love when that happens. It's such a pain in the neck to change POV or tense because like
Mm,
you will find another one that you missed every single time you read that book. Every time an editor has passed through, there's like always that
mhm.
straggler. It makes me crazy.
And
Anyway,
the character is going to have completely different thoughts about it. So you're changing
right
more than just the basic scene. You're changing the whole frame around it.
right. That's true. That's true. I wonder if that's not easier than just changing like tense because tense is so like it's everywhere in the chapter,
Hmm.
whereas you are right, you're with the character change, you are primarily changing the framework around the scene of
Yeah.
like whose POV you're seeing. Yeah, I think there's some truth to that. Look who's here. Danielle is here. Hello, we are super glad to see you today. Mary says, haha, crazy friend Dave sounds like an episode of Friends. Was the Dave guy named Gandalf or something? Wait, did I miss that? I feel like I missed something with crazy friend Dave. Danielle says I'll join you in like 20 minutes. I have to take care of the dogs. I can relate. Look at that. Look how good they're getting though, the little doggies at
Mhm.
yeah, and not freaking out during the live stream. It's been a while, right? I've done like, Zoom meetings in the last several weeks, and at first, every time I would start talking, they would bark. So now they understand what we do around here, so they're all right.
Well, mine
Um,
finally revived after being depressed for a few days after Georgie left. But um, I don't know if I mentioned it before, but in early spring, when we first got warm days, she got bit by a tick, which could only have been there like less than 24 hours from the previous day before we found it. But it takes less than that for Lyme disease to set in. And she's got Lyme disease. She
oh
just sort of
no.
conked out like she could hardly stand. And then we took her to an emergency vet and they found out she had Lyme disease. They gave her like a month's worth of antibiotics and probiotics. And I'm still keeping her on doggy probiotics and changing her diet and making sure she's getting exercise. So she's doing quite well now. She's energetic and
That's
seems to be happy.
good. Oh, what a relief. I know like Lyme is so scary. It can like it's so can impact animals and humans and yeah, oh my gosh. Well, I'm
Yeah.
glad she's on the mend. That's very good news. Mary is working on Seniors Gone Wild today, which I think might be a big section of the book possibly called Do Not Pass Before or After Your Time. Oh, you kill me, Mary. I handwrote a couple of pages about Ice Palace. Thank you for bringing that memory to me. You're welcome. Very glad to hear it. Um, Maz says to Mary, I know it's probably a romance, but I like the idea of Seniors in the Wild being narrated by David Attenborough. Yeah, it's actually nonfiction. Okay, my midpoint scene is coming at the 55% point, and I'm stressing how to get it to the 50%. Do not stress over that.
No,
Just go.
those percentages aren't exact. I mean,
Right.
you need to keep them kind of close, but I've read books by the masters and they're still not 100%. As long as it's within like 3 to 5 pages and it's not going like extreme, you're probably pretty good.
Yeah, I would not worry about that at all. And if you need to first of all, your book might end up just being a little bit longer than you originally anticipated, and so
Mhm.
sometimes that can push your midpoint scene a little farther. But the other thing is like as you are in not now, keep writing, keep doing what you're doing, but as you are in the editing part, if there's any fluff to cut out that you don't need in there, you'll cut it out then, but do not worry about that. 50 to 55% is just fine. So,
Mhm.
do
And
not worry.
I was reading about like certain genres like action and science fiction that the last quarter of the book can actually be quite short because in those type of stories, once it's over, you don't have a lot of lingering around after the fact. So you kind of compensate by extending maybe like the middle half of the book a little bit. So you adjust and you make those adjustments and you work things in where they have to be, but it doesn't
Right.
have to be equal.
Romance is like that actually because it takes forever. It takes the whole book for them to get together. Finally, we've resolved all our problems. So then after that hits, after your resolution, you basically just have the last scene that shows the support of their community and everything's going to be great and work out fine. And yeah, so I would just like it's a good those percentages are good to sort of help like, let you know to stay on track, but
Yes.
don't let them become handcuffs, right? It's a scaffolding, not a jail.
Good way to look at it.
Thank you. Just popped right into my head. All right. I had to rewrite an entire book because I realized that POV was not the right one. It worked a lot better. Of course it did, and what a miserable experience. I'm so sorry. It is really hard to do it. Unfortunately, sometimes you just have to do it. Just like sometimes you start a book in a way that you think is gonna be great, and as soon as you do it, you realize you're looking forward to another scene that's farther deeper into the book, and at some points, you will come to the realization that you should start with the scene that you're looking forward to, and it's a hard thing to happen, but it's almost always for the better of the book. So Avi says Seniors Gone Wild is such a great title. Seniors behaving inappropriately is my favorite trope. Me too, right? I have like an octogenarian in every book I write, I think. Heather, so nice to see you today. Been lurking for a while, getting my usual admin done, plus some brainstorming. Yay. Very nice. Plus some brainstorming and snacking. I have been doing some brainstorming and snacking myself. A little blueberry muffin. I just was so lazy. I was like, I had a very long day yesterday and I was just so lazy today. So, yeah. I just did not want to get out of bed. Heather, very nice. Everybody's great. Let's see. Right? I have not seen that movie in such a long time. Cocoon
What
was
I'm
so great.
watching, I don't know if you guys watched it, but I started watching the series From, and it's intriguing. It's kind of eerie and intense in parts, and I just hope it doesn't have a throw spaghetti at the wall ending because it's made by some of the people that worked on Lost.
Oh, yeah. Well, sometimes those like I felt like what was it? Was it oh my gosh, I've totally lost my train of thought. Never mind. If it comes back to me, I will share it with you then. In the meantime, let's cover up my mortification of not being able to remember the thought that I had 10 seconds ago. And go ahead and get started on another writing sprint. Let's do that. Here we go, everybody. Dun, dun, dun. I have not seen Cocoon in a million years either, though. I feel like that would be like a fun thing. I did watch a series recently. It's going to make me crazy that I can't remember how it ended. Oh, uh, Scorpion, which is it like I've been sick. I spent a lot more time in bed lately. And I watched this show Scorpion, which is basically about a team of geniuses that have to save the world every week, which primarily the end of the world often happens in Los Angeles. I don't know if you were aware of that. Sometimes in other places, but shockingly more often in Los Angeles than you might imagine, which just happens to be where they're based. And they had planned for another season. They ended the show on a major cliffhanger that like pretty much just completely went against everything that was true for the entirety of the rest of the show, and they just did it and then ended it, and they pulled the funding or whatever. They didn't get another season, and so they never wrapped it up. But it's like the least satisfying. You're on a cliffhanger. It didn't end well. It was terrible. And so yeah, no happily ever after for Lisa on that one.
the premise of From, and Mike would probably like it. It's people that are lost in the world sort of end up on this road where it just goes in circles around this town, and they're trapped in a town. And the town is a place where they can't escape from. And during the day, they're fine, but at night, monsters come out and they look like normal people, but they're knocking on the doors and they have talismans that they have to put up to keep them out of the houses. But if you open the door, the fangs come out and they kill you.
Oh my God, he would like that. We'll have to.
And the people are going like stir crazy because they're trapped there, and in this season they're running out of food and all these problems. And of course,
Oh,
people have to snap. And once they snap and do something stupid, then they get a lot of people killed by the creatures that come out.
yeah. Oh, I think he would definitely like that. I'm gonna have to put that on the list.
The mystery I get out of there is pretty intriguing, and they have these trees that have like a hollow opening that can teleport you, but you never know where you're going to end up. There's a whole lot of mystery going on.
That's really fascinating. I love those kinds of details too in a story, because like the ones where you as a human can't figure out what you would do if you were a character is like, I always love that kind of stuff. Really, really fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go ahead and get rolling on our very next sprint. Let me get this clock happening here. We got 20 minutes on the clock. We're going to do some great writing in this sprint. Fast as you can. Don't be thinking. Here we go. Getting started in 3, 2, 1. Let's sprint. All right, everybody. How'd you guys do on that last sprint? Let us know in the chat. How'd you do, Robert?
Good. I'm on to the next scene.
Yay! That's fantastic. I just realized I look very dark, and it's because I forgot to turn on my light today. Here we go. It's too slow. Yeah, I just was like, why do I look like I'm in like a? I have the shades drawn because it was kind of hot, so that's probably why. But oh,
It doesn't
great.
look that dark to me. I'm probably
Okay,
dimmer than you are because I've got overcast and I don't have a light on that side of the room.
oh, that's so funny because on my screen you look very well lit.
Okay.
I think I'm on the wrong network or something because my light's not showing up on there. This feels like a problem to solve during the live stream. So yeah, fantastic. Well, let's go ahead and answer a question. Let's see. Heather said, I like Scorpion as well. Successful teen of neurodivergent characters. Check, including a mom character who's learning from them just as much as learning from her. Double check. I know I really liked it. And I don't typically like that kind of CBS drama, but I was very surprised. Like it just sort of popped into my watch list, and I really did enjoy it right until the end. So yeah,
I'll have to put it on my list and check it out.
it was pretty good. I am a sucker, I will admit, for like teams of nerd geniuses saving the world like that. I am the audience. If that's the kind of book or show you write, I am your person. I'm your fan. But yeah, anyway, I hate when shows end badly. I mean, obviously there are a million examples of shows that end badly. Before or after we go to our next sprint, I'm going to do the news first. But drop in, you guys, in the chat your like the show that you loved that had a terrible ending. Terrible ending. All right. Mary says, I hand wrote a couple more pages related to Ice Palace and misbehaving seniors in high school and seniors in their so-called golden years. Love that. Fantastic. Let us know what you guys did. And also your favorite bad ending. Not favorite. Your least favorite bad ending. The one that ticked you off and made you take to social media to express your outrage. That's the ending. All right. While we're all, what were you going to say? What were you going to say?
Lost. I mentioned Lost earlier. So yeah, that was pretty bad. And, they're almost apologizing for that one. Like, we tried our best, when you hear that, it's like, okay, something's up here, to satisfy everybody. But with such a complex show, there's only so much we could do. And then I heard that they just threw anything that they could come up with as far as the episodes, and it's just trying to keep the audience engaged, and they had no idea where they were going, and then they tried to piece it together in the end, and it's like, no, that's a mistake.
I know. You hate it when that happens. Or you could always tell when the writers thought they were going to have like 6 more episodes, but the producers were like, sorry, you got to do it in 3, and they have to like compress a storyline that they've been like sort of taking their time with over the season, which I felt happened to the Umbrella Academy, right? With that show was just perfect. Like it was so well done all the way through. Yeah. And I will say that it was a heroic effort by the writers to get that thing wrapped up in a satisfying fashion, but they did not have enough time to do it, and that kind of sucked.
Yeah.
Mary says, I hated the ending of Seinfeld, but we just rewatched The Big Bang Theory. I will confess I have never watched The Big Bang Theory, which you'd think I would really like it. I never started it. At some point, maybe I will. Mary says, which has an ending that made me get choked up. Aw. Daisy says, not a terrible ending, but no ending. I was so pissed off when my favorite HBO historical horror show, Carnival, was canceled after a cliffhanger. Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah.
Sarah Connor Chronicles got canceled, and it was quite frustrating. Yes. The best ending in television history is Newhart. Mic drop. If you know, you know. Okay, can I say I do not remember the ending of Newhart because I don't remember the ending of Newhart. But what I do remember about Newhart is that when I was in college, it was like the Bob Newhart show was syndicated like everywhere. It was like constantly running all the time. and sort of like Law and Order is now. Like there was a lot of syndication of the Bob Newhart show. And when I was in college, we used to play a game called Hi Bob, and you had to drink every time somebody came into the room and said hi Bob, and 30-minute episode would get pretty toasted because a lot of people said hi Bob. Anyway, so now I have to check out the ending. I'm gonna have to see where I can find that. Umbrella Cat. Oh my God, yes, watch it. It's so well done. Like it's so clever, and I really loved it. I thought it was really well done. Like my son and I would have these big long discussions like for 30 minutes after every episode, because it was just, there were just so many rich elements that it was a great show. Almost no shows have good endings. Outlander was terrible. They wrote in unnecessary things that left plot holes. There were 10 episodes in the last season and rushed. Oh, I hate it. Free Range People was like, yes, Bob Newhart. That's hilarious. Right? You just think, like, I personally feel like the streaming channels and the, you know, and the networks have a responsibility to their audience to finish a show in a satisfactory way. They have sucked us all in. We have, you know, taken our money either for the streaming service or for advertising dollars. And you would never accept this if it was a book. You would never accept that you got, right? You never accept this. And it feels like just wrong that they do this. Anyway.
Yeah, people have a lot of trouble with endings, and movies are the same way. I mean, action movie after action movie, it seems like the third quarter is just a giant chase scene in a fight, and then you end up with whatever. And it's usually not that satisfying.
Game of Thrones was one of the fabulous, like famously ticked off a lot. But to be fair, it was going to be so hard to please everybody because that show was so huge and so popular. But yeah, it wasn't a great ending. Daisy says 90s Newhart ending is he wakes up next to the wife from his old Bob Newhart 60s show, and apparently the entire series was a dream. What? Who was that?
I remember that. Yeah,
that is phenomenal. Weird. That is kind of hilarious. Who was his wife in the 60s show? Was it like Suzanne Pleshette?
I think
I don't know. That name just popped in my head. I have no. I
God.
Literally could not picture Suzanne Pleshette if you asked me to pick her out of a lineup. But there's something in my brain that was like connecting that thread. Kind of funny. You should watch Big Bang. I also resisted at first, too close to home since I worked at Caltech NASA. There's at least one episode where they talk about shows that had terrible endings. Oh, that's funny. I love Gifted Education. I have a lot of experience as a gifted ed advocate. And so like I just am really naturally attracted to like total nerd shows. I don't know why I never started watching Big Bang. I'm not sure why, but we never did. Yes, right. But like Dallas, it was like a crappy. So I was a kid when that happened, but I remember like I would watch it on Fridays, like, you know, babysitting or whatever. Right. So that's weird that I still remember what day it came on. What? Or night. But yeah, the thing about Dallas is that it was a terrible plot device. Like I could see, you know, they were tying together the 60s and the 90s show. And I think that's kind of a fun ending for anybody who appreciated Bob Newhart. With Dallas, they had a plot that went terribly awry. And then they tried to fix it by saying, oh, it was all a dream, and giving themselves like a restart, as I recall. I don't remember what the restart was, but I do remember that people were really mad about it from my childhood. So yeah, there we go. All right, let's go ahead and get to my favorite part of the day, the stinger for the day. Okay, that's funny that I left the comment up there. Uh, so here we go, everybody. We have all kinds of exciting stuff that happened in the last week. Last week, we talked about the new Authors Guild study that found that only 25% of readers actually purchased a new book or audiobook in the previous month. This week, we are seeing the publishing industry respond to all that. Yeah, it's good. We're also going to be talking about new fees at Drafted Digital, the continued growth of audiobooks, Spotify and 11 Labs partnering up, Google AI summaries coming under regulatory scrutiny, and publishers escalating their fight against large-scale book piracy. I'm starting to think that the biggest publishing story of 2026 may not be entirely about AI. It may be about ownership. Who controls the content, who controls the distribution, who controls the customer relationship, and who gets paid when the discovery happens. I think we're seeing a lot of stuff that is kind of mixing things up there. All right, so story number one, Drafted Digital introduces author fees for the first time in 14 years. Two new fees. One is a $20 one-time activation fee for new accounts when distribution is enabled. So if you already have a Drafted Digital account that is active, it is my understanding you will not get charged that $20 one-time fee. That's for new accounts. And then also they're going to be charging a $12 maintenance fee for accounts earning less than $100 in net royalties during the previous year. And the company is saying that this is the first time it has charged authors directly beyond its typical percentage of sales. And according to Drafted Digital, one of the biggest reasons for this change is the explosion of AI generated content just flooding the publishing platforms. So it's probably not going to affect you significantly if you are, if you're a serious author, but it might reduce some of the AI spam entering the ecosystem, and I think that's something that it could be very helpful. I do want to say, don't skip out on Drafted Digital distribution if you're an indie author, because that is how you access most of the various library systems, including Overdrive Libby, Hoopla, Cloud Library, which is also Biblioteca, BorrowBox, and Palace Marketplace. You don't want to skip out on it. So it's not great, but I appreciate the fact that they cannot store a gazillion AI generated crap books indefinitely. So, all right, story number two, audiobook sales are continuing to grow. We are seeing sort of a downturn as far as people spending money on print books, but audiobook sales are still up, which is great. This has really moved audiobooks from a nice to have format for authors to a really important core publishing format. For a lot of readers, it's the primary format that they use. Story number three. Spotify and 11 Labs are building an audiobook ecosystem. There's some kind of cool stuff. If you're not familiar with 11 Labs, they do a lot with AI, and they're part of the reason that Spotify is able to do this, their new AI audiobook creation without limiting you to a single platform. But here's what's really interesting, because 11 Labs is definitely benefiting from Spotify's distribution, but they are also trying to position themselves as a listening destination. So not just a production tool, but a listening destination. And they pay creators or authors when listeners engage with audiobooks, which is kind of cool. And they're not all the AI narrated books. They've added approximately 200,000 human narrated titles through a partnership with Penguin Random House. So there's one more thing about the platform that 11 Labs that I thought was kind of interesting, and is the creator payment model. It's broken into 11-minute segments. So if they listen for 11 minutes or more, then you get paid on that, which I thought was kind of fascinating, because it's 11 Labs, 11 minutes. So audiobooks becoming more and more important, and still a big opportunity for authors. Story number 4, UK regulators are pushing back on Google's AI search summaries, which I think is great, and I sure hope it comes to the US. The UK's Competition and Markets Authority is imposing new controls related to Google's AI-generated search summaries. You know exactly what that is. It comes at the top, and they basically just rip off the top performing websites and provide a sort of Franken-soup answer there. When AI providers answer directly in the search results, obviously the publishers are losing traffic that they would otherwise receive. And I think that's really important that the UK is recognizing that this is harming a lot of businesses. And honestly, it's the business's intellectual property. Google should not be able to just scrape it and use it without giving publishers their due. And finally, talking about giving publishers their due, story number 5, a group of publishers has sued the pirate site WeLib after they won the Anna's Archive victory. So they just won that major lawsuit against Anna's Archive a few weeks ago. 13 publishers, including Hachette, HarperCollins, Macmillan, Penguin Random House, Simon & Schuster, Wiley, McGraw-Hill, Pearson, and several others. They have sued WeLib, and they are going after that. WeLib, if you're not familiar, hosts approximately 43 million books and provides unauthorized access to copyrighted works on a massive scale. So I hope they get what's coming to them, and hope that this publisher lawsuit is successful.
Yeah.
That is it. If you want more publishing news, hot takes, and the strategy behind today's publishing stories, be sure to check out this week's edition of Plot, Twists, and Paycheck, which is my weekly publishing news roundup for authors, and it's linked below. All right, who's ready for our next sprint? Me.
I have some thoughts whenever we come up with the whole AI topic, because I keep looking at these threads and I don't even know why I bother reading them, because it's the same responses. And the thing is, everybody who wants to do AI, and it's usually tech people, and they obviously don't understand stories, because they keep saying, or the economy for that matter, because they keep saying that people are complaining that AI is, making people lose their jobs, but it's gonna create new jobs.
Right.
How is it going to create new jobs for the people that were doing those jobs in the first place? You're going to have to completely go out and reinvent yourself. And number 2, and this is the weird one, they keep saying that AI is going to come up with new story paradigms. How are you going to come up with a new story paradigm?
And it does not create, right. It does not create that way. It is as AI book proponent Elizabeth West describes it, it is a dictionary slot machine. It is, it's not there. And there have been all kinds of studies about how basically if you're asking AI to pattern match, great, it can do that. If you are asking it to solve a big problem, it cannot do that because it's not creative in that way. And I think it's really, and I think that's also too why we're seeing all these companies that were like, oh yeah, we're going heavy on AI, pulling way back because AI is not able to do the work to the extent that that humans are. Moss says, I get amused by people getting upset that their prompts are stolen. I am with you. Moss asked a question earlier too. Is this drafted digital or draft to digital? Sorry for my word slurry. Blah, blah, blah. It's draft to digital. I would say draft to digital, but yeah, that's it. Draft to digital. Draft to digital. Lainey says, I was taken aback at the outrage aimed at draft to digital over this. The fees seem really reasonable to me. I agree. I agree. I mean, I know and here's one thing that I do wonder about. And that is whether or not KDP and Ingram Spark and some of the other bigger distributors that deal with a lot of books are going to start following suit. Like draft to digital took the hit. and if, as long as they continue to produce, I could see how Ingram Spark and Amazon KDP and even all the other booksellers might consider this as well. I hope it doesn't come to that. I hope it doesn't come to that, but I do completely understand why Drafted Digital would do this. So, and there is a lot of outrage over that.
Yeah, they don't seem like outrageous fees, but you know, people are going to complain about everything they usually do.
Well, there is some truth to that. There is definitely some truth to that. All right, let's go ahead and hit up our next writing sprint. Let me go ahead and get that up on the screen here. Dun, da, da. All right. Look at that. I was able to rewind it all the way to 3 this time. Okay, everybody, here we go. We're going to do our next 20-minute writing sprint starting in 3. Right. Last one. All right, we are back. How did everybody do on that last sprint? Let us know in the chat. Pull that down so I don't hear that anymore. So that last 20 minutes went by so fast.
It did. I got a
So
little bit lost because I saw where in a previous draft I had 4 people in a scene and I cut it down to 3, but in post I mentioned 4 and I was like, wait a minute.
phantom person in a scene. I've done that where I like eliminated somebody from a scene to like make it a little tighter, but then like later in the book, the person that I eliminated from the scene is talking about being there, and you have to like go back and go
Yeah.
like, oh wait a minute, I took them out. Unless they're psychic, we're gonna have to figure out a different way for them to know this information. Oh my goodness. That was fast. I actually got a ton done today. How did you guys do? Let us know in the chat how your writing went today. How about you? It seems like you made some good progress.
Yeah, I got at least 2.5 scenes done, so that was pretty good progress since I had little problems in a couple of them.
You had said something you were going to mention when we came back from the break about, or from the sprint, about the news stories that we just talked about. What was it you wanted to say?
Oh no, it was just about the AI stuff in the comments that people were making, and
Yeah.
my thoughts are they just don't really understand how corporations work, and AI is getting better. They're right about that, but the big companies are going to have a different form of it than they're going to sell to everybody else, because do you think they're going to give everybody that even chance to do what they're doing?
No, of
No.
course not. Well, and they've said, I think it was Sam Altman, there was a study that went around, or not study, a quote that went around like a week or so ago, or a couple weeks ago, where, and I forgive me because I didn't plan to talk about this day, so I'm not prepared. I believe it was him. It could have been another of the AI tech titans, but basically, one of them said, "Yeah, the big idea here is that we suck up all of human knowledge and then sell it back to people like on a metered scale. So you'll have to pay for AI because they've taken everything." And like that just pisses me off on about 800 different levels, like just the wrongness of we're going to steal everything all humans have ever made, and then also we're going to sell that back to you. Like,
It's the
okay.
whole P.T. Barnum thing with the sucker born every minute. I mean, stories are human nature, and story structure is psychology. And if you don't understand how that works, you're not going to be able to create a story that has meaning or structure. It's not from Save the Cat, and it's not from half the books. And that's a good example. They put out
Yeah.
books that's a watered down version of what it actually is, so that you don't really know and you still need them.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Fingers crossed. We live. I mean, the bad part about all these lawsuits is like, yeah, we'll get our couple of dollars, but for the most part, the cat is out of the bag, and the dogs are barking at the lawn guy, who happens to be, of course, doing the shrubs right outside my window at the end of the live stream. Amazon, Mary says Amazon's already kind of selling our stuff back to us, given how much I have to pay to buy copies of my own books. No. Well, they do print them for you though, but yes, yeah, absolutely.
The good
Absolutely.
silver lining in all this is knowledge is power, and not everybody is looking to seek it. So if you actually put in the time to learn what this is all about, you'll be ahead of like probably 98% of
Yeah,
out there.
right, that's it. Like, just spend some time kind of understanding what's happening. I know that's it. Like, it's on one hand, the horse is out of the barn. Sorry for all the cliches. The horse is out of the barn. They're like, we can't get it back in, but we can be, as smart as we possibly can about keeping our rights and making sure that we are, protecting ourselves in any possible way that we can.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this has been a lovely, lovely writing sprint. Before we go, shoot, do we even do our intros, or did we just start
No,
going?
we just started.
Before we go, let's tell you a little about the people you spent the last 2 hours with, although it's mostly regulars today. So, but anyway, Robert, tell us a little about you and your awesome channel before we go.
My channel is The Story Detective, where I place those various forms of storytelling beneath my Sherlockian lens and break down the craft for the viewer. And those are storytelling techniques from narrative and sequential art that's visual to words on the page and whatever else can possibly be found that's interesting and applies.
I froze for a second when I did this. I was not trying to get you to hurry up. I was like, listen. Thank you so much, as always, for being here, Robert. I'm Lisa Daly. If you're not familiar, I'm a book coach and a hybrid, both traditionally and independent author. And on my channel, we talk about how to write a book you're super proud of and get it published. Thanks so much for being here today, everybody. And we will see you next Wednesday.
Take care, guys, and keep those keyboards clacking.